Welcome to a new test and teardown video. This time it's another Tektronix oscilloscope, and the main frame is a 5111A with, of course, all this analog storage built into the CRT itself. And all this I already covered in another one of my Tektronix videos. That one was a 4-channel plug-in, and I will put a link in the description to that video. So if you got a more normal oscilloscope and that is what you're looking for, then just please stop now and go straight to that video instead of this one. Because this one is a very, very special rebuild oscilloscope, and it is done by Hocking Electronics. As you can see here, they made a plugin called Phasec D6. I got no idea what the heck that is. It looks a little bit like we got 2 channels and some more channels perhaps. I don't know exactly what is going to happen here. We got some phases, we got some... I don't know anything. I don't have this plug-in module here, so I don't know exactly what's gonna happen. Probably not a lot, because we don't know where that is going. Can we use this for anything? Can I pull this out and get a picture on the scope? Well, I don't know yet. But the shape of this, the condition of this scope is a little bit worrying. It looks like it was left outside in the rain or something. So I think I should definitely open it before I plug it in. Let's look at the rear as well. Everything here is completely changed. So they took out the original Tektronix plates and put in their own, painting them different colors and added all the text as nice silk screen text and all that. And then they added this connector. This is also not original. My other 5111 did not have this. And also trace rotation, that was also here. I think they changed a lot here. We got some inputs and outputs for some different channels around all those different connectors here. So yeah, definitely a very big rebuild of a product. Oh, nothing is normal inside this 5111 mainframe here. Everything is completely different. Look at that. So that will be the deflection amplifiers. The high voltage is in here. We got the storage control up here, and then we got, of course, the plug-in, and even that is modified as well. As you can see, the rear panel here, all that is different, all the wiring, and then they added a cable for that connector. Here we go. That one, that connector here is not normal as well. What have they done to this scope? The only thing that is normal down here is that power supply part. Oh, this looks a little bit different as well. We got the final inspections and all that kind of stuff here. I was hoping to see some dates, but I can't find that. I think this looks fairly alright. I just cleaned it a little bit. So I think, yeah, let's try and power it up and see if there's any image on the screen. I have a little problem with this switch. It's not going out. I cleaned the others a little bit, so they kind of work. They're supposed to do like that, both of them. This one is not going out. I promised you to video the first power on, so here goes trouble. Let's mains is applied, nothing bad happens. Prepare yourself. 40, 80 watts, 70 watts. That is actually quite normal. This one is alive. Look at that. Let me turn off the... Oh, look at that! High voltage is running. There's actually a little bit of some funny stuff going on here. That has something to do with this erase upper. Where's the trace? That is weirdo. Okay, see, we got a beam finder. So here's the beam far off the screen. So that is the thing we need to find. Oh, look at that. We definitely got some funky stuff going on here. And then, what if I... Then I can just... Okay, that was focus, and then this is intensity. Okay, it is alive. But there is some... Yeah. Here's the problem. It is this storage button here. This one is the thing that I need to be able to... There's a mechanical problem with that switch, and that is going to stop all further investigations. Okay. So after it's getting warm, all this is actually working. So now I enabled the storage for upper and lower. And now upper erase, see, then you get this erase pulse. And then you can turn down to a lower. And then you can erase the lower. And then you can turn on and off the upper. See, here's the erase. And you can turn on and off the storage and all that. So I think actually all this works. I only have this mechanical problem here. See, now I turn off the screen and I still see this stored image, and I can of course turn off the stored image, or I can erase it like that, and then I can turn on my Alright, so how nice. It's just this problem. I have not figured out yet what the heck all this bottom setup here is doing, but it's definitely making stuff responding. As you can see, it's moving a little bit here, and we got channel this and channel that. See, when I push it, there's some sort of timing, funny, funky stuff going on, right? And when I dial this, see, there's also, this is a really sexy display. That's another thing. I really want to see what's inside this. Maybe I can just plug in some signal into that one and this BNC and see if it's alive, right? You are not going to believe what is happening here. So this is a 2 Hz sine wave input, and it's doing this siggity thingy, right? Of course I can erase the... It's like that. So if I move this one, that is the phase, then it turns it around like that. Isn't that funny? And then all the different switches here, it's moving all sorts of phases and stuff around, and external doing all sorts of funny things. So this is something to do with, see, gain more or less. And then there's something with the filter or some stuff, and then this one moves the phase around. The others, they don't do a lot. But what the heck is this? Look at that. Flippity floppity face thing, right? See, turns it around. It's also sort of noise in the pots. But what the heck is this measuring? Or what is this good for? I have really no idea. But it looks a little bit like a curve tracer, because this one looks like a curve, like a trace, a component tracer of some sort, right? So all you have to do is mount something. Also, if I take this is my 2 Hz signal, I turn off the signal, right? Then we have a dot. But if I take this is a dummy load, and then I connect that one, see? It's actually also a affected by that. So there's also some sort of a DC thingy here. Not there, but here. Really wild plug-in module here. This is the storage control buttons. I was having some sticky buttons and some not working mechanic. Look at that. How well it works now, huh? But getting this board out so I could clean this. First I clean this with alcohol and make sure that it's super clean inside the contacts. And then I give them some very thin oil. So, of course, it's special oil that will not create problems. And then they're just nice and smooth. Look at that. Oh, this one is still a little bit sticky. Needs to go like that. But getting this board out was the wildest struggle. See, there's also a switch in here. This is the beam finder. And we got some very stiff and annoying wires down here. And we got this beam finder piece of plastic here that goes to the beam finder. I can now clean this as well. So that is going to be nice. A little contact here for that one. And all the different... it's just so annoying that some of the wires here, they're not in connectors. They're just soldered. Why is it so annoying the way that this is made? Well. And then there's this piece of metal here that prevented this module to go back so I can take it out, right? This, you can remove a little screw here, and then you can take it up and flip it, and then you can take out that module. That is a little bit sexy solution. So while I was poking around with this, I couldn't help looking a little bit on the deflection boards. And look what I find here as well. Here's a spare fuse. Isn't that cute? So there's a fuse in here, but there's a spare one sitting right there. I think that is pretty nice. So now this board is in and assembled and everything is fine. It's actually a little bit funny how those two screws here, they're almost impossible to reach with the screwdriver, as you can see here from the top. Why the heck didn't they make a little cut in here, right? And here, so it would have been a million times easier for service. Why couldn't they have seen this? But anyway, it is in, and I'm super happy that I can now use those two switches. So that is great. I took away this aluminium cover around the high voltage, like this, so I can clean it up a little bit. You can see all this dirt and stuff. It's really good to clean off all this sucked in dirt around all the high voltage. It will create much less leak, especially in high humidity. It will sit in all this dirt around all those high voltage parts. So I carefully cleaned everything here. That's over voltage protection arc over, and we got the high voltage sense and all that. I think there's like a high voltage switch mode down here somewhere. And yeah, here we got the high voltage diodes, adjustments for, so it's probably here, high voltage intensity range and stuff like that. So that's of course the voltage. Yeah, and that was our deflection amplifiers. I'm still trying to see if I can figure out about the plug-in module, because they modified a lot, and that's kind of slow-mo deflection here. So this unit is very special. So I was thinking, what can I use this for? Is it possible for me to bypass some of the input outputs here and just use the BNCs here on the back for inputs to the deflection, because that will make it quite useful as an XY scope. So you can of course power this up without the plug-in module, and that will just give you a little tiny dot as you can see here. And then there's absolutely nothing to move or adjust or anything, because input to the deflection is just completely open. So it's just wherever it is. I was actually expecting a dot in the middle here, but there's probably just a pull up or some leak that is pulling it up. Yeah, that's the storage. Erase the top, erase the bottom. Cool. So how about we look a little bit at the plugin module. So that's the Phasec D6. I think I've been able to search up some information on the internet, and it should be something with the plane industry, either civil or military, and they're using it for testing some sort of electromagnetic conductivity thingies about the planes. I can't really figure out exactly what it's doing, but it's something to do with eddy currents. So that means we have to connect some coils for inducting magnetic fields and some other magnets or some stuff, probes for detecting inducted voltage or current or some sort of stuff. I don't know exactly what that is, so you could please link some more information if you find something, or if you know something about what this unit was used for. But let's look a little bit on what this can do. So there was this little display here that was responding to some frequencies. So I unscrewed the top PCB here so we can look inside. It is heavily packed with electronics all the way around. It is clearly analog stuff. Look at that super star ground point for all the references of all sorts of analog stuff. Isn't that just beautiful? And then here is some isolation here, so we can't really see all the stuff here at the bottom. And then there's another board with some power supplies and lots of capacitors. So let's look inside this thing. It is full of op-amps. That's actually more or less what it is. And they're from 1984. So that is how old this unit is. Look at that. Tons of op-amps and stuff. And this is the frequency counter chip that is driving this little LED display. So it's a multiplexed LED driver and frequency counter chip. So here's a crystal for the frequency counting reference. And again, it's full of analog stuff like counters, shift registers, and op-amps in one big pile of op-amps and analog stuff. Absolutely amazing product. But it's all low frequency stuff. And look at those pot meters. All of it super high quality. I think we can actually show them a little bit better here from the outside. Look at that. Isn't that a super nice... I mean, this is a normal one, but this is a double-decker multi-turn. Those are very rare, by the way. But that one, I think this is a normal pot, but it actually also got some other pins. Let me see if I can show you that. See, we got those 3 down there, right? And see, we got some more up here as well. So maybe there is both, or is it a double decker, or I don't know exactly how that works. But they are very special as well. Huh, look at all those timing components. It is amazing. Well, here we got some more information about the Hocking Electronics Ltd. United Kingdom. Very well made, this plug-in module. I'm actually trying to figure out how to access the interface board, and the right connector is the one they're using. And that's actually the pinout I marked down here. Let me send some light. I marked little blue marks down here. So that's the horizontal and the vertical deflection. See, I'm inputting some signal here. This is 0.5 volts peak, and then the offset is 0.5 volt negative. So there's a little bit of a challenge with the offsets, but I think it is possible to figure out how this works. So by looking at the back panel schematic from the manual, I was able to figure out those two resistors here. That's vertical loading resistors or something like that, right? For just having a bias on the two inputs here. And those are horizontal input resistors here. Those are series resistors. So here there isn't any DC loading or anything. It's just floating inputs. So I soldered orange and yellow wires on the two deflection inputs, and then I put them here on variable level and variable offset using DC supplies and my signal generator input. Here's my Arduino that's making this text. So look what I've done here. By adding a little bit of sine wave to the offset, to the horizontal offset, I can make it interfere with the updating. Isn't that funny? Then I can get this kind of funky movement just by adding a sine wave, and depending on how it interferes with the updates of when it is drawing the different characters, then I get this funny interference pattern. I think that is so fascinating. Also, what I did about cleaning up here, this front acrylic look, I actually tried to polish it now so you can actually see through it a little bit now. It was really scratched heavily, so I tried to clean it up as good as I could. This is the rear side where nobody's been destroying it, and this piece of plastic here was so dirty. I just can't clean it perfectly. That is a little bit annoying. It's still a little bit dirty. So now I'm done and ready to pack it away. Thank you very much for watching, and please come again tomorrow. Bye bye.